Hello, my dear YouTube family. Am I live? Yes, I am live. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to see me? Anybody here live? Just type out a hi in the chat box. So, I'd like recently, in the last few classes, in the past few sessions that I've taken, they were more oriented towards emotions, emotional intelligence. How can we teach emotions to a child? How does a child learn about emotions? And something regarding emotions. And why is it needed? Because it's what is needed. Let me tell you. Let's go. Why is it needed is a big question. There are many reasons why it is needed, but it's about looking into your own self. And the first question that has to strike you, or that got to strike you, is for you. If you want to teach emotional intelligence to your child, if you want to teach emotional awareness to your child, then am I aware of what emotion is running in myself? Am I aware of how I am feeling at this moment? So, for me to teach emotional awareness, for me to teach emotional intelligence to my child, I should already be practicing it. So, a parent can create an impact on a child only when the parent is already implementing it. That is, a parent can be a mentor to a child, but a mentor who is an implementer. That is very, very important. See, we all can teach. You can teach n number of things to your child, but whether it creates an impact on your child or not boils down to depends on how far you are implementing it. Yes, so just preaching, just teaching is far different, is very much different from are you implementing it and then you are sharing it. That is what creates impact on your child. Yes, don't want to go. Yes, practicing whatever you're teaching, again, there's a lot to discuss. It's not just about emotions, but let's get back to emotions here in this particular live session. So, yes, I'd like to share a story here. Yes, the main intention for creating this live is for me to share a story with you of a 4.5-year-old who said who could identify something about her feelings. But even before going there, I need to share some kind of context behind it. So, yes, how do you teach emotions to a child? Again, there are various methods, if you can call it methods. There are various stories, moral values, there are various games, worksheets, flashcards, yeah. And what else? There are various resources, outside resources. There are plenty of outside resources available to teach any specific, any one concept to your child. Agree? Now, so worksheets meaning, let's talk, let's just come back to emotions. So in worksheets, for example, you have these flashcards or you have these worksheets where one person is maybe banging on the door very, very, banging on the door to maybe call his friend or some for the door to open basically. And there is another picture where the person is just standing there patiently. And the child has to tick at the good manner and put a cross at the bad manner. Yes. But if the child was allowed to think from a non biased perspective, from an unbiased perspective, then the child will get this question in his or her mind. That is, Mama, what if that person was in a danger? What if that person was being chased by strangers? What if that person was being chased by dogs and that person had to go to some house and keep banging on the door? If I was there, maybe I would get scared and I would just go there and bang on my friends' doors. Why would that be a bad habit? Yes. So whatever you do at that point of time is contextual. It cannot be boxed into good manners, bad manners, good, bad, right, wrong. The same way, emotions also. Now again, there are flashcards for emotions. There are charts on which a smiley, a sad smiley, and various types of um, emoticons, smileys can be drawn. And then, yes, all this is also being taught in school, not just in school. I mean, all these are common conversations that happen with an adult, between an adult and a child, where, okay, this is sad smiley. So, what would you do if you're feeling sad? And then you will ask some questions. Yes, all of that is good. It can obviously, I mean, can definitely help your child to think in a better way when your child is going through that situation. Maybe the child is sad, and then what can you do? How can you speak to your friend when the friend is sad? How can you speak to your friend? Yes, 100% will work. All these conversations will work, but they are not the only thing that work. If I may add this, they are not the only thing that work, because even before the child, even before you are trying to believe that the child is learning good stuff about emotions from stories, from board games, from worksheets, from how I'm creating this conversation, and all of that, your child has already learned about emotions, about handling emotions when you were in the kitchen. Maybe you were called out by five different people asking you to, you got to attend to their needs. Yes, maybe five different people in the family, some house help, some another man from the community help, or somebody came there, and all of them were, you had to attend to all of them. And at that point of time, you were also you were also cooking in the kitchen. You had to finish cooking, you had to finish cooking breakfast, lunch, and then pack boxes. You have plethora of jobs to do there. Yes, so at that point of time, your child walks to you and asks you something. How did you respond to your child? So when you have been bombarded, you are bombarded with 10 or 20 different emotions within yourself, and the way you respond to your child, right there, the emotional intelligence has been passed down to your child. No matter how many conversations you create, okay, I've been overwhelmed, okay, I've been tired, okay, I've been frustrated. So if you are frustrated among these smileys, if you are frustrated, how else would you speak? How else would you tell out or let out your frustration, etc., etc.? All of that will be fun to do, but how did you react when you were frustrated? How did you react when you were overwhelmed with emotions? How did you respond when you were already anxious? How did you respond when you were already angry? Yes, how did you respond to your child? That is what precisely the child is learning majorly from, and this is what is creating an impact on the child, because that is what you are doing. That is what you are practicing on an everyday basis. That is not something you're teaching. So, what you're teaching could be different from what you're doing, but what you're doing is what is creating impact on your child. Yes. So for you to teach emotions to your child, you got to be aware of what emotion you are having inside of you. So at that instance, when five different people are calling you from five different corners in your house, outside your house, whatever it is, people need your attention. Basically, you got to attend to them. Yeah, there could be various reasons: elderly people, health reasons, young people, or house helpers, community people, somebody who picks trash was calling out for you, and you were making that tadka and it will become black. And yeah, there will be challenges, there will be practical challenges in an everyday life. So at that point of time, are you, when the child walks to you and is asking you something, are you aware of what emotion do you have, and what made you react that way? Maybe you yelled, maybe you got irritated, maybe you got frustrated, maybe you just had some unpleasant reaction. Yes, it's not, again, that's not wrong. Please do not put some kind of guilt on yourself that, oh my God, I always wanted to stay calm, but it's not happening. Please do not control yourself to stay calm. Please do not force yourself to stay calm. Just watch my other videos, and you'll get all your answers and reasons about it, answers and solutions about it. So coming back, yeah, when you are bombarded with 10 or 20 different emotions, and your child is has walked to you, and you got to respond to your child, you got to answer your child, and you had an unpleasant reaction, at that point of time, do you know which emotion inside of you pushed you to have that unpleasant reaction? Were you tired? Were you helpless? Were you scared? Were you anxious? Were you overwhelmed? Were you frustrated? Were you irritated? Were you disappointed? Were you angry? What was that emotion that is running inside of you which made you react in that unpleasant way? Yes, which pushed you to have that unpleasant reaction? That is the question that you got to ask yourself, and that is where you got to, that is how you will develop that emotional awareness inside of you, that will help develop emotional awareness in your child. And if you can do that, and if you can do that for yourself, and if you can pass it down to your child, do you believe that this world will become a better place with better aware individuals walking in this world? Yes, inhabiting the world. Now, story time. Let's go to the story. So there was a 4.5-year-old, yes, 4.5-year-old child, who was waiting at a certain place. Basically, it was a clinic, and yes, she was along with her sibling also, but the other people also were surrounding there, like nurses and other people. Other people were also there. The parent had to walk away from that room, from that waiting room, for some kind of checkup, and it took time for the parent to come back. Yes, it took time for the parent to come back. So the child was waiting, 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 and it was the ti- yeah, the time was running, but the parent was not coming back. The child was still waiting, but there was no trouble. Still there was no trouble, yes, but the child was just waiting for the parent. So 30 minutes passed, 40 minutes passed, and then the parent came back after treatment. All this while, the parent also was having this scene running in her mind that, okay, my children are waiting there. Okay, so how are they feeling there, etc., etc., etc. And 30 minutes passed, 40 minutes passed, and the parent walked to the waiting room to just look at how are my children doing, how are they feeling, are they, I mean, how are they feeling? That's all. Yes, they are waiting, but how are they feeling? Yes. So when the parent walked to that 4-year old child and looked at the 4-year old child's eyes, the eyes were all a little swollen, and the eyes were holding the tears. Yes, the tears were not rolling down, but the child was holding these tears with her eyelids. She was like about to burst, but she's holding the tears. She's like she wants to burst, but she's like holding the tears. Yes. So the parent asked the child, "Oh, you're crying. What happened?" There was no response yet. The child was still kind of silent with some kind of sad expression on the face, and still holding the tears within the eyelids. Yes. So what happened after that? The parent wants to create a conversation. Yeah. So, oh, I see you crying, but can I know what happened? No response yet. Yes. So the child maybe was still trying to process all these feelings and emotions. And then, after certain attempts, the parent just made a guess. Okay, guess about what kind of emotion was running in the child's within the child. So the parent guessed. Okay, so were you scared? That's what is making you cry. Were you scared? Because the parent guessed that, okay, maybe she was scared because she was surrounded by strangers, by people who she doesn't know, and the only person she knows, I mean, apart from the sibling, the mother, the parent, basically was not there, stepped out of the room. So maybe she's scared in that new room. Maybe she's scared in that new place, surrounded with new people. Yes. So the parent was just guessing. Maybe she's scared because she was put there. She was asked to wait there, and the parent didn't return for 30 minutes to 40 minutes. And then the 4.5-year-old opened her mouth, not just talking, but shouting. Yes. So what did the 4.5-year-old shout out? Now, I'm not going to be shouting at that high pitch, but you can imagine a 4.5-year-old shouting at a high pitch. Yes. So, what did she say? The parent, what did the parent ask? The parent asked, "Were you scared? That is the reason you're crying." The, the child shouted, "No, I was not scared. I was sad." The child shouted, "No, I was not scared. I was sad." And she was really feeling sad. And she was really feeling sad. She was feeling sad for the parent who went to the clinic. She was feeling sad for the parent who took time to come back. She was not scared, and she could identify that emotion, and she could discriminate between scared and sad. If a 4.5-year-old could do that, if a 4.5-year-old who was about to burst out, about to cry, but upholding her tears, but I mean, whatever was happening in the outside behavior, it's kind of maybe she's just about to cry. That's the outside behavioral part. But if the 4.5-year-old knew the emotion which was making her cry, can an adult make an attempt to know what is the emotion that is making me yell? Can you, as a parent, make an attempt to know what is the emotion inside of you that is pushing you to create that, to have that unpleasant reaction? And if every adult does this, every parent does this, every parent takes this a little, one step at a time to understand more about his or her own emotions, to process more, to process his or her feelings in a better way, then how much can we teach our children who are adults of the upcoming generation? Yes, they are the ones who are already inhabiting the world, but they will be at a, so the world will become a better place as the world is surrounded, as world is filled with adults who have better emotional awareness. Don't you agree? It's not about agree. Do you believe that if each one of us has a 1%, a 0.1% better awareness on our emotions, better way to process our feelings, then we can definitely make this world a better place. If you as a parent can do it for yourself, and that is what you're teaching your child, then just imagine how much of a ripple effect, how much of a compounding effect can you create in this world. Because it's not just you are doing it, it's also you are making your child do it. And when I say you're making your child do it, it's not that you're forcing your child to do it, but your child is already seeing you doing it, so your child is able to do it. The child is comfortable doing it. The child is comfortable talking about emotions, processing feelings, identifying emotions, telling it out. I'm angry, I am sad, I am scared, I am frustrated, I am disappointed, I am helpless, I am anxious, I am fearful. And this is a very big thing, a very, very big thing, which is going to be determining how not just the world is running, how every single community, every single group, every single family is going is going to be living in this world. Because if you look back, majority of conflicts among adults, yeah, if you look back, the reason for majority of conflicts among adults is just because we lack this emotional awareness. Yes, so we just don't know what emotion is going inside of you, inside of us. You may not know what emotion is going inside of you. You just put out some reply, you just put out some response, and that doesn't go well. And then you look back, oh my god, why did I react that way? I was actually angry, so I shouldn't have spoken that. Yes. So if you know you were angry, if you know you were frustrated, you wouldn't pass it down to your child. If you know you were irritated, you wouldn't pass down the irritation to your child. If you know you were helpless, you wouldn't pass that helplessness to your child. The, so it boils down to how much aware you are of your own emotions. That is what is that is the emotional intelligence that the child is already learning from you. And yes, you could provide plenty of additional resources. You can create charts, emotional charts, create conversations, provide storybooks, provide board games to teach emotions. Yes, all of that can be done. But the major learning is already happening from the way you are living your life, a simple day in your life. Yes, from that is where your child is majorly learning from. That is where you are creating an impact on your child. So with that being said, yes, that brings us to the end of this live session. So, if you've really inspired from the story of how a 4.5-year-old could identify her emotion, just type out how are you feeling? What do you feel about the story in the chat box? And just make sure you also like and subscribe to my channel so that you will continue to get notifications whenever I post a new content or whenever I go live. So that's all for this. That's all for this session. Take care. Happy parenting. Have a blissful parenting. Take care. Bye bye.